All right, gang, it looks like we are live. Come on in, one and all. Great to have you guys. I hope you're all doing well this evening. We got some breaking news here within the last hour. Absolutely amazing development going on. Yes, I know some of you, I was reading some of the comments as I was sitting down here that Pennsylvania appears a little schizophrenic right now. Hey, we'll take it. We'll take schizophrenia over dementia any day, right? Pennsylvania, as represented by the Pennsylvania Speaker of the House, Brian Cutler, and their House Majority Leader, Pennsylvania has joined the Texas lawsuit against Pennsylvania. Let that hit you. It is huge. Twitter is ablaze with this. So I wanted to just get you on here live so we could chat about this. So come on in. Great to be with you this evening. We just did our last video. You definitely want to check out. I think we just loaded up a couple of hours or so ago. I think you're really going to like it, on the Hunter Biden scandal and how the media has the media's attempt to cover up that scandal. Not only was it pathetic, nobody bought it. I wouldn't say everybody knew about Hunter Biden, but let's be blunt, we all did. Okay, we knew it. A lot of people I know who still avail themselves of CNN and so forth, MSNBC and the like, they didn't. New York Times, Washington Post, they had really not much of an idea what was going on. It wasn't brought up in the town halls. It wasn't brought up in the debates. Well, now we do know it's broke, and the dam is broke. Hunter Biden is under federal investigation. Not only Hunter Biden is under, also Joe Biden's brother as well, James Biden. The Biden, shall we call him the crime family? Whatever you want to call it. Appears to be collapsing as we speak, along with whatever semblance of credibility the media had. We know now, of course, with the James O'Keefe tapes, secret tapes revealing Jeff Zucker meetings over at CNN over the last month or so prior to the election, where they deliberately buried the story. They knew it was a bombshell, but they didn't want to risk anything for Biden. It's all, gang, it's going to come out. There's just, we've talked about this in all kinds of ways. We're moving from what's called a mass society where society is all sort of condensed in these big, thick, bloated, bureaucratic, urbanized cities and institutions. And that's where we get our big media, Rockefeller Center, CNN building. That's all breaking up and splitting out and disestablishing and decentralizing into what's called the network society, which is what we have right here, where independent content creators from all over the world now can provide news coverage, news analysis that you have total freedom to avail yourselves of. And you can't cover things up anymore. So thank you for that super chat. I missed that. Very appreciated. So anyway, it's stunning. The dam is broke. So you want to check out that video. Hunter Biden is under federal investigation. Ain't nothing good going to come out of that for him or for the Bidens for sure. Russ B., thank you so much. God bless you. God bless. And Merry Christmas, everyone. It's not too early to start wishing each other a glorious and beautiful Merry Christmas, or Happy Christmas, as you say across the pond. I know you've already begun saying that. You begin saying that nice and early in November. Thank you, Alexander. Very, very appreciated. All right, so we've got an amazing development going on here. It is breaking news. Like I said, just in the last hour, the state of Pennsylvania is joining the Texas Megaton lawsuit, yes, against Pennsylvania, as well as Wisconsin, Michigan, and Georgia. So we're going to talk about the implications of that for what's ahead. Now, as you all come on in here, we're not going to be able to touch on everything in this live stream. Obviously, we have to be very careful and cognizant of YouTube's announced ban on any talk of fraud impacting the election. So we're going to take this conversation off YouTube platform in a in a bit, and we're going to continue talking about this at my exclusive live online Q&A that I'm holding tonight, December 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You are all invited. I never do a party without inviting all of you. We're holding these live Q&As every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and they are exclusive for our Insiders Club members. Now, if you're not a part of my Insiders Club, all you need to do is click on the link down below in the pinned comments section, and you can sign up. And as a special limited time incentive, you're going to get your first 2 weeks absolutely free, right? That's absolutely free. We're giving you a free 2-week trial so you can be a part of the Q&A tonight and ask me your questions directly. And again, we do this every week. We set up, just so you know, we talked about this last night, real quick plug here. We set up the Insiders Club several months back as a hedge against what we're seeing right now coming from YouTube. And again, like I talked about last night, could not be more disappointed in YouTube right now in terms of what they're doing in policing free speech. The goal to be able to state that I cannot critique a Democrat election is the antithesis of Democrat sentiment. I mean, I can't, in the name of protecting the integrity of a democratic election, they are shutting down democratic participation. It is absolutely absurd to me. This is beyond, no, I'm not even going to get in. So we set this up precisely for that, to have a, shall we call it, a safe space, a censorship-free space where we can all gather together. Now, again, I know the free content here on YouTube is wonderful. We have our sponsors who pay for it. Our advertisers pay for it. But then, we are subject to the whims of the oligarchs in that sense. So in our Insiders Club, we all collectively pay for it. And then that enables us to have a safe space, free, totally of censorship. You have direct access to me, and you'll get that tonight in our live Q&A. Now, it's a 2-week free trial. It expires soon. So if you want that free 2-week trial, make sure you take advantage of it now, okay? It's not going to be around for much longer. So don't wait, because it's make sure to click on that link below, become an Insiders member, get your first 2 weeks absolutely free, and I'm going to see you tonight at our party, right? I'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our live Q&A. All right, let's dive right in here. Thank you, Jennifer. You are awesome, Jennifer. Very appreciated. All right, so big news here. We've got some serious dissension in the ranks here in Pennsylvania. There were 2 announcements that just came out, and they could not be more contrasting. So first announcement came out today at 3 p.m., okay, or around that time. And it was from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Now, if you don't know, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court got taken over by the radical left over the last couple of years. So Pennsylvanians vote for their Supreme Court justices down ticket. The last Supreme Court election, as I understand it, only had, I don't know, maybe 20% of Pennsylvania voters come on out to vote. So the left was able to sneak in there. Okay, so as I understand, you've got at least 4 out of 7 justices in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court who are Marxist radical. Okay, I mean, let's just be blunt; they're not even subtle anymore. Well, they had by 3 p.m. to the Supreme Court, after Texas dropped its bombshell lawsuit, they had until 3 p.m. today, Thursday, to respond to that lawsuit in detail. And as I understand it, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices, they just dismissed it. They just said it was bogus, it was goofy, it was ridiculous, unsubstantiated, blah, 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 blah. Remember, as far as the left is concerned, this was the single most pristine, spotless, immaculate election ever conducted in the history of humanity. I mean, it was the single greatest election ever performed by human bipeds. So they've completely dismissed the Texas lawsuit allegations. However, right around the same time, it was announced that the Speaker of the House in Pennsylvania, Republican by the name of Brian Cutler, and the Pennsylvania House Majority Leader, a fellow by the name of Kerry Benningoff, they filed an amicus brief, which is technically known as an amicus curiae, against the state of Pennsylvania, and in favor, against the state of Pennsylvania, and in favor of Texas's application for relief. Now, while an amicus brief is not a formal joining in on the lawsuit the way, for example, the Trump team has done right now. They've, quote, intervened into it. They have joined the lawsuit. As the term implies, they are friends to the lawsuit. They are amigos. They are amicus with the Texas lawsuit. They are formally filing their support of the suit. And this is huge because in doing so, they are siding with those who are alleging that Pennsylvania conducted an unconstitutional election. Now, again, if you're not familiar with what's going, just to bring you up to speed, the Texas Attorney General, all right, guy by the name of Ken Paxton, dropped a bombshell lawsuit on 4 states. So we're talking Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, alleging that these 4 states in particular conducted their elections in ways that violated the U.S. Constitution. And if the Supreme Court agrees with that allegation, that would almost certainly mean that the Supreme Court would force the state legislatures of those states to appoint a new set of presidential electors that would almost definitely vote for President Trump, given that the legislatures are all Republican. And since then, since the bombshell dropping of this case, 48 hours ago, I believe you have had over 20 states joining the lawsuit. I believe it's now around over 28. So this is gigantic. This is like almost half the nation suing these 4 states. This is like the mother of all court cases, as it were. And what these states are saying is that these 4 states in particular, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, have disenfranchised their citizens because we'll just take, for example, Texas, while the citizens of Texas followed the Constitution in this election, in other words, they followed the rules, the citizens of these 4 states didn't. They didn't have to. Or the case charges that each of these states flagrantly violated the constitutional laws governing the seating of electors. So according to the U.S. Constitution, if the state legislatures, it is the state legislatures that have the sole authority, what they call the plenary authority, to seat electors and to determine the time, place, and manner of any kind of election. And these states have effectively outsourced those responsibilities to bureaucrats like secretaries of states and the like, which again, the suit alleges is itself unconstitutional. It's actually a very, very substantive case. And what's so interesting, and by the way, I did see, was it Jeb Bush had tweeted out earlier today, I don't think it's very substantive and blah, blah, blah. I think even John Cornyn of Texas was critical of the lawsuit. And I just had to tweet out, with Republicans like this, who the hell needs Democrats, right? And so what's so interesting with this case is that it's basically the nuclear option to Rudy Giuliani's attempt at getting the individual states to reassert their power, their constitutional authority to appoint electors. So once you get Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and even, Arizona legislatures, we could have done a whole nother video on that. So Arizona is doing their own committee hearings tomorrow with subpoena power. I mean, so people are now, up to this point, these are not real committee here. No one's actually testifying. There's no subpoena power. You're not under oath. Yes, you are. Now you are. And by the way, when you sign an affidavit, a sworn affidavit, you are, right? So those are all bogus charges anyway. The left's argument, especially that, I don't know if you've seen we'll talk about it tonight. I'm going off on things, but the left's argument against, for example, the blatant fraud that you saw in Georgia, right? The blatant fraud with the Georgia suitcase suitcase gate. They're actually trying to gaslight that. It was heavily edited. And fortunately, we have 8 hours of video that shows a different story. No, it doesn't. It's hilarious. And we have affidavits that actually line up, sworn affidavits that line up with what you actually see happening on the video. Anyway, they're doing everything they can to just pretend that this was an angelic election. And it's so forced. It's so artificial. It's laughable. All right. But basically what the Trump team has been doing in holding these hearings in all these states, they're giving the state legislatures there, which are all Republican, the evidence they need to hold an emergency session and make a motion that there's enough evidence to demonstrate that the election was indeed, the integrity of the election was indeed flawed. This is Giuliani's position, right? I have to make that clear. All right, this is Giuliani's position that he want to present all this evidence so that at the end of it, the legislature put forward a resolution says the election was indeed, the integrity of it was indeed compromised, irreparably so, and that the votes in question, the votes that are suspect, once disqualified, means that Trump wins easily. On that basis, then, they seat their own electors and send them to Washington, D.C. on the 14th. I believe the court case, this Texas case, is even challenging that date. So you had safe harbor on the 8th, and then you got the 14th when the electors come together and vote. They're challenging that. By the way, nothing's actually ever it's official until January 6th, until the president of the Senate signs it. That's Mike Pence, and he could even refuse to certify the electors. There's all kinds of things that could still go. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it tonight. The court case is actually challenging the date. As I understand, they're claiming it's movable. I believe they're absolutely right. January 20th is the only date that's set in stone, as I understand it. But regardless of when, their goal has been to get these state legislatures, these Republican state legislatures, step up and appoint electors who will vote for Trump in Washington, D.C. Now, Biden, of course, will not roll over. He has his own electors. And he will dispute that by sending his electors that were seated by these secretaries of state, which means then this whole thing ends up ultimately in the Supreme Court, which will then rule in favor. This is the theory. It will rule in favor of the legislatures appointing the electors in accordance with the U.S. Constitution. The legislatures have the ultimate sole authority, what's called the plenary authority to appoint electors. So this is the most clear-cut path in terms of how the legal and the legislative work together to secure President Trump's victory. However, what on earth do you do with these rhino Republicans who don't want to call a special session of the legislature? Well, that's where the Texas lawsuit comes in. The Texas lawsuit forces a special session by virtue of the Supreme Court's intervention in all these contested states, these 4 contested states, by their declaring their vote unconstitutional. That would require these Republican legislatures then to go into special session, and then they have 2 choices. They either appoint their own electors, which will be, since the Republicans, they'll appoint pro-Trump electors who turn around and vote for Trump, or they kick this into the House of Representatives. Okay, if they kick it into the House of Representatives, that either way, it effectively robs Joe Biden of the 270 electoral votes he needs to be president. Either the 4 states, I think the combination of which is around 60. Are they are not quite the 4, maybe the 6 dispute or 60 electoral votes. I forgot, maybe they're 40 electoral votes. I forget how many the 4 are all together. But regardless, if those 4 states, so again, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, if they choose their own electors, the Republican legislatures, or if they kick it into the House in order to be decided in the House of Representatives. Either way, Biden is robbed of his 270. Okay. And the beauty in all this is that up until today, the Pennsylvania House Speaker, Brian Cutler, has been accused, I think quite rightly, of being one of those rhino Republicans who refused to call a special session, or at least refused to help spearhead one. We interviewed State Senator Doug Mastriano yesterday. Check out that video. You're going to be so absolutely heartwarmed when you see that we have state senators, public servants like this man, combat veteran, PhD, author, 4 master's degrees, professor, retired Army colonel, state senator. He serves the Lord and he serves his nation. He is the quintessential public servant that the world would be better off if all of our public servants would be like that. We interviewed him just the other day. Check out the video. You're going to love it. He gave us a front lines view of what's going on in Harrisburg and the frustration of getting these rhino Republicans like Speaker Cutler to stop being so feckless and cowardly. I am so excited to say that it looks like the Speaker of the House and the House Majority Leader in Pennsylvania are finally stepping up and doing something here. They're filing this amicus brief, formally siding with the allegations as laid out in this Texas lawsuit against their very own state. And so they're going to be aiding them. They're going to be friends of the court in any way that they can in order to see a favorable verdict for the Trump team at the Supreme Court. And of course, this case goes directly to the Supreme Court. Whenever a state sues a number of other states, the case goes directly to the Supreme Court. Now, where does all of this lead us? Well, that's what we'll be talking about later on tonight at the live Q&A. You are all invited tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, our live online Q&A. We go from this platform to a platform that is censorship free. And this is, of course, just for our Insiders Club members, but we want you all there. So if you're not part of my Insiders Club, all you need to do is click on that link down below in the pinned comment section. Join my exclusive club right now, and you're going to get your very first 2 weeks absolutely free, no obligation. We want you to be there tonight for the Q&A. You're going to absolutely love it. Of course, we'd love for you to stay an Insiders member, but if for any reasons you want to cancel, you can do so. I'm going to need a glass of water before tonight. You can do so, no obligation. So make sure to click on that link below. We're going to do it. Make sure to click on that link below. Become an Insiders member. Get your first 2 weeks absolutely free. And I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our live Q&A with maybe some warm beverage, cold. We'll get there. All right. Let me get a little rest. Oh, you guys are wonderful. Thank you for those super chats. God bless you guys. Really appreciate it. Excellent. Yeah, it's great to see you. Salty Crackers. Great to see you guys. You're the best. Absolutely the best. All right, cough, cough. That's right. I wish I had a cough button there. All right, guys. I hope to see you tonight. Make sure you join that Insiders Club. We need it now more than ever. Seriously, I know I'm maybe going a little overboard on this, but we put it together precisely as an alternative platform where we will never, ever be separated. We will never run into any kind of censorship or anything like it. Again, I know it's a bit of a bummer. We got to pay for these things. I like the free deal. We have our sponsors paying for it, and so we just get that. But then we are at the mercy of the whims of these big tech oligarchs who somehow believe that they are being consistent with democracy by telling us we cannot critique a democratic election. It is beyond. Again, it is beyond doublespeak. I don't even know what to say. It's beyond Orwellian. So please click on that link below. I will see you tonight, guys. God bless.